series called, well, hello. I'm not sure if I said hello. It just said recording in process. So I'm not sure if we're just now beginning or if you got a few seconds of my hello to everyone, but what a joy it is to be back with you. We've been engaged in doing this series that We Are One, and we've been bringing some of the leading faith leaders of our time here in North County of San Diego together to have some deep conversations about the principles and how they apply to our life. And so I want to start with prayer, and then I will introduce you to my guest that I'm very excited to be able to share with you this evening. So wherever you are, know that we are one, and let us turn within to that just magical, mystical place of the divine, where time and distance dissolves and we move and groove together in this divine consciousness, and truly we become aligned with the revelation of spirit that is speaking through our guest this evening, Dr. Bijan Zayer, that truly he is a clear conduit for that higher revelation to be known. And so we go forth trusting this time together, knowing we're watching from our independent places, but somehow united in creating this collective field for spirit to have its way. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Well, my joy to introduce to you tonight, my guest. We're going to be doing some talking, but then we're going to be taking your questions. So if you have questions along the way this evening, type them into the chat room and I'll receive them, and then I'll ask our wonderful guests. But Bijan Zayer, I knew him through his wonderful faith of Baha'i. The Baha'i faith is just one of those international, it's not even really a religion, it's more of a faith, a way of life. We're going to hear more about it in a minute. But Bijan has been one of the leaders of this movement, and particularly in this area or wherever he is. For 49 years, he has served on the assembly, which is the leadership of the local temples that then go on to support them at the national level, that goes on to support them at the international level. But he is also well known in our area. He teaches at the University of San Diego. He is Dr. Bijan Zayer, head of in the business department there, teaching international business, local business, a prolific author. And today he is just coming out with his newest book. And Bijan, welcome. Show us your book. Tell us about this. Tell us a little bit about you. And then I'm going to ask you some questions about Baha'i. But tell us about your book today.
Thank you, Dr. Christensen. It's a pleasure. This is the first time I'm introducing this book because I just got it today. And this book, Lead with Integrity, is a lot of simple examples and analogies about how we can live an ethical life. And it will be available within the next couple, 3 weeks via Amazon, and I will get that information to you. But some of the things that this book outlines are so practical in our life because it talks about why is it important to have integrity? Why is it important to be honest? What about kindness? What about loyalty, compassion, justice, forgiveness? These are 7 topics that will be discussed in this book. And I hope that those of you who are interested in these topics will pick up this small book and enjoy what is there. And I will be happy to sign the book to you.
Well, Bijan, that sounds very exciting, and congratulations. And, it sounds like you bring your spiritual philosophy right into the business realm, into your classroom. I know you're an executive coach, but you bring the philosophy of the Baha'i movement to whatever you do it and wherever you are. And it's a big birthday this week. Baha'u'llah's birthday is Sunday, I believe.
Yes,
so why don't you
right.
start off telling us a little bit about the one who started this philosophy?
Yes, the founder of the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah, came to bring us very important message. And that message was the pivotal tenet of the Baha'i faith. It's about unity of humankind and universal. Because in order for us on this planet to have unity and peace, we have to unite together. As your theme for these webinars talks about, we are all one, and that is true. Because no matter where and what part of the world we are all the same. Our intent is noble. God has given us talents and abilities to be able to serve humanity in whatever capacity we can be. Baha'i faith is about independent investigation of the truth, meaning each person investigate and declare into a religion that they found out about that religion during their investigation. In Baha'i faith, you don't born into the faith, or you are not coerced by your parents to be part of it. You investigate and do the readings, and as a result, accept Baha'u'llah, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, as the manifestation of God for this day. Now, having said that, Baha'i faith embraces all religion.
I noticed that, in the Baha'i, there are people that are practice many different religions. It seems to be a very inclusive spiritual philosophy.
It is very inclusive, Reverend. In Baha'i faith, we don't discriminate, and I will talk about that a little bit later, because of your background, because what kind of religious training you may have. We love everyone. Everyone is welcome. Baha'i faith. That is the pivotal point about unity, because unless we can bring humankind together, we will never have the universal peace. So this is why Prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah, emphasizes many aspects of human rights, such as equality of man and woman. We can never get the universal peace when we are striving without unity of man and woman. We have to eliminate all prejudice, sexual, racial, religious, all of them, in order to bring about this universal peace. We believe in compulsory education. Baha'is are required to educate their children. Unlike America, where we live and enjoy, many parts of the world, education is not a priority. And as a result, children are raised without developing their God-given mind to contribute to the society, make a difference in the society.
And where did this faith begin, and around what year did this emerge into the consciousness of humanity?
Yes, Baha'i faith was born in Iran. And when we review all the spiritual writings from the previous prophets, Moses, Jesus, they promise that they will never leave us alone without a teacher. So these prophets come to teach us, give us some guidance. And frequently they come at the part of the world that is the darkest. And this faith was born in Iran. He came from a very, very well-to-do dynasty of Qajar at that time, and he could have had a very easy life. However, when he received this message of God that he's the next prophet, he started his prophecy, which is fulfilling the prophecy of other prophets.
Okay, so he was fulfilling the prophets of, like you said, Moses and those great teachers that came before him. And he came into Iran. And what was the era? What year did the faith begin, or was he around?
Early 1900s, where at the time there were a lot of turmoil in that part of the world. And his message was well received at the time by the spiritual leaders of Muslim faith at the time. We call them mujtahideen. And they followed him. They agreed that he was the promised one. And of course, shortly after realizing that by accepting his message, this may cause difficulty for those who were the followers of the Shia sect, then they started making difficulties with the government, and he was exiled to Iraq, where he, for the first time, he declared his faith. And then he was exiled because he was getting momentum of people to see him.
What do you think was the key to that momentum? Because, you know, it's a fairly new faith in terms of the world religions and how long it's been around, but it has phenomenal expansion. I mean, its temples are gorgeous around the world. I mean, I remember flying over the one in India. Is this spectacular lotus blossom that the building was built after, and it was stunning. The one in Chicago, I have just seen pictures, sort of amazing stories, and it's not even the central location. I think the central location's in Haifa, isn't it, over in Israel? And I know you've been there representing, you know, the United States in the religion. I mean, 49 years you've been part of the assembly. They have no ministers, but somehow this religion or this faith has attracted world leaders into the congregations because it's so welcoming of all religions. And so what was it that, you know, Baula was sharing that was getting people to come inside, and that took off?
Again, Baha'u'llah's message, I will share other parts, but one important pivotal point was the unity of mankind. He embraced everyone. And as a result, wherever in other parts of the world, people were waiting for this awakening, Baha'u'llah's message was received warmly. And then as these countries and continents were beginning to mature and receive this message, they started expanding in their own country and realize that Baha'i faith is not only for Baha'i, it is for everyone. And this gravitated all the not only spiritual leaders, world leaders, individuals to this faith. So it started expanding all over the world. And this message, the reason it kind of cut fire, because it was the message people were waiting for. Because in all scriptures, this has been promised that one day, next prophet of God will appear to guide the humanity in this direction. And of course, since his message was all encompassing, people realize that yes, it is fulfilling. Mm-hmm. They don't have to do a lot of things that other faith required them to do, because this was for this age. Mm-hmm. And the whole humanity began like a magnet to be attracted to the Baha'i communities and Baha'i faith.
That's beautiful. Yeah, caught fire and a magnet is, I think, a beautiful description, because some of the the upper class systems and the government officials are part of this this philosophy, and it is a very affluent philosophy, and so they're very grand and generous in their service projects of taking care of those that are less fortunate. And so in this turbulent time upon our planet, this is a question I've been asking the other faith leaders that have come on with me. But in this dynamic time where there's got the concern of a virus that's running rampant, there is concerns with the political polarization, nations saber rattling, if you would, economies, who knows what's going on, the war games that are going. What would your philosophy and faith offer those who are seeking greater comfort? I hear that this is a religion of universal peace, but what would you teach these people who are trying to find solace and comfort in these tumultuous times?
Absolutely. First of all, Baha'i faith, Baha'i leaders, Baha'i followers are all obedient to the rule of that country, government of that country. For example, during the COVID-19, when we were asked to not have public meetings, we stopped having public meetings. And meetings were on a Zoom, respectfully. One thing I would like to, Reverend, respectfully correct, Baha'i faith is not a philosophy. It's an independent religion. And the followers of the Baha'i faith are very faithful to what they believe. Not in a fanatic way, but in a respectful, loving, kindness way. So as a result, whatever happens, they accept it, they embrace it, rather than resisting. Baha'is are obedient. So as a result, whatever they are asked to do, they will obediently accept. And as a result, we didn't see really any serious turbulence. He said, okay, this is what we are supposed to do. It is lockdown, and we are going to abide by those rules. And fortunately, everything worked out well. Faith continued growing. Many people accept the Baha'i faith even during the COVID-19. Why? Because spiritually, they believe that if this is something that has happened, what can they do to help each other? What can they do to hold somebody's hand? Make a difference in a society. There were a lot of people out of work during this pandemic. So how can I hold somebody's hand during this terrible economic difficulties? Well, just hold their hand, help them with shelter, help them with financial, if necessary. So because of Baha'is' devotion and dedication to humanity, they didn't think about if this person happened to be homeless, but we are going to help this person because they need our help. And this is like a glue that glues humanity together at all levels. No questions asked. Because again, we are all one. We are all in this thing together, whatever it is going to be. If we are going to survive this turbulence, which, knock on wood, looks like it, we are beginning to survive, then everyone is going to be working together, holding each other's hand to be able to survive together. No one left behind. As much as we can. Can we do this all over the world? I wish we could. One day, we believe that that dream will come true. However, as you very well mentioned, this faith has grown leaps and bounds all over the world, primarily because helping other people. I'll just share with you one example. There was a doctor in Iran. He went to pilgrimage, and he was told by Shoghi Effendi, the grandson of the Baha'u'llah, prophet founder of the faith, that he should go to Indonesia. He didn't even know where the Indonesia was. With 4 little kids, he went there and he started helping people to get well as a doctor. He initially started working for Red Cross. And then slowly he started having his clinic. People would come to see him who had no money. He had a little, I never forget, I've seen this with my own eyes. He had a shoebox. So people would come, if they had any money, they would drop something in the shoebox. If they didn't have any money, after he examined and wrote the prescription, he would say, "Do you have money to get the prescription?" And the person would say, "No." He would say, "Okay, give this note to the pharmacy up the street and they will give you the drug." And every month, that pharmacy would bill him for the drugs that they had dispensed to these people. Mm-hmm. He never asked that until the day he passed away at the age of, I believe, 80 to 84. He served in Indonesia for over 50 years. Wow. I mean, that's just one example. I can cite examples after example.
So it really sounds like this independent religion is big with service, taking care of our brothers and sisters, you know, one humanity, one planet, and we're in this together. And if everyone was to take care of themselves and those that are around them, we'd be in good shape. Hey, you know, we got one of the questions, they're starting to come in, Bijan. So this is one of the questions that someone asks, and it says that the Baha'i website states youth empowerment, faith in action, advancement of women. The question is, can you talk about the advancement of women?
Yes. In Baha'i faith, Reverend Sorensen, women's station is very high. In fact, if a family has enough money to send one child, they have a boy and girl. If they have only enough money to send one child to school, guess what? That's going to be the girl, the female child. Why? Because she's going to be the future mother of children. So the station of woman is very high and very much equal to man. And that based on where woman's station was before manifestation of God Baha'u'llah came, you find that they bury female children. So just think about how it has evolved to that point. So yes, the station of women is very high, and in assemblies that you mentioned, women are elected to the administrative body of the faith, just like a man is elected.
Nice. Well, that's beautiful, and the way it should be. So here's another question, and I want to encourage our listeners to write in the questions. This one's interesting, Dr. Bijan. It says, do Baha'i believe in resisting governments which clearly are oppressing and causing pain and suffering to their own or other people? I mean, do the Baha'i support militaries? You know, so you got an oppressive government. What do they say? Go along, or what's up?
At all levels, Baha'is are obedient to law of land. So if government is there, even though they are maybe suppressive, they peacefully may resist, not in any kind of resistance with the fight, but with peace. And sometimes it works, and sometimes, unfortunately, it doesn't. This is the reason many Baha'is in different parts of the world, in my homeland, in Iran, have been executed. Now, there are many, many reasons why this has happened, but part of it is because they do not fight with the government. They are obedient to the government. However, they do everything they can peacefully to let them know that they are innocent, or support those people who are innocent, hopefully to bring about this peace. And of course, I keep talking about universal peace. Universal peace will not come about unless we bring about elimination of all prejudice, so that people are the same, regardless of their faith, religion, regardless of their political orientations, whatever background they may have. They should be respected. They should be allowed to practice what they believe, as long as it is in a peaceful way.
Yes. know what I find interesting about the Baha'i religion is they don't really have, I don't know, temples all over the place, and they don't have ministers or ecclesiastical body of spiritual leaders. It seems more of a laity. And so if somebody wanted to delve into more of the Baha'i, if they wanted to come to a service, I know the Baha'i is big on food. I've been served some wonderful meals from the Baha'i. But if somebody here in the North County wanted to learn and be part of a Baha'i community, being that there's not a location per se, I mean, there's a big place in San Diego, I guess, but up here in North County, how does somebody come and do they worship? Do they teach? What is it one would find if they wanted to deepen their understanding and walk with those similar faith?
Excellent question. First of all, we all open our homes, our hearts to everyone. So even though we don't have a temple, or we do have temple in each continent, by the way, like the one you mentioned, one in Chicago. However, local communities like Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside, they have a community, and that community people, first of all, they have elected people to the local spiritual assemblies. And I can
you have served on
that.
for 49 years, the local assemblies. I mean, that's very impressive. And there's no pay for those who serve, right?
That's correct. That's correct. So people do whatever they do in life, and they serve the Baha'i community. So whoever comes to our homes, they are welcome. We have once a month devotions in our home. Of course, we did before the pandemic, and our door was open. And we are not unique. This is true about all Baha'i. People were welcome, warmly welcome, come to our home. Then we would have devotion in all languages, with all different faiths. They could bring their own writings from Bible, from Ten Commandments, wherever they're going to bring, and they would read those. And we would make available from all different writings of all faiths, so people would be enlightened about other faiths. Because again, the primary tenet of the Baha'i faith is unity of mankind. So as long as we embrace these people and welcome them to our mix, and Baha'i faith is not about conversion. We don't convert people to Baha'i faith. People have their own belief, their own religion, but once they learn about Baha'i faith from our writings, independent investigation of the truth, then they will be able to perhaps accept the Baha'u'llah as the manifestation of God for this age.
And what are some of those teachings of Baha'u'llah?
Teachings of Baha'u'llah, again, are very simple. By the way, he has written over 100 volumes of books.
So what's some of that information? That's a lot of volumes. That's even more than you've written.
Yes, that's true. I'm excited about one little book. But,
yes.
But most of that, Dr. Sorensen, were written in prison under the worst conditions. But message was very clear and consistent all the way through. That his message was welcome everyone, bring about the unity. One area I want to also mention, that this prejudice has brought about separations, divisions between families, between nations, between countries. And if we can eliminate these prejudices, whatever the reason may be, wouldn't that be a magnificent world? Wouldn't that be a great opportunity for people
Yes.
to live together and bring about universal peace so people don't have to worry about? I will share with you that Neil Armstrong, who was one of the first astronauts, was interviewed by Barbara Walters. That what is one single thing that he remembered when he was on this stage? Without 1 minute of hesitation, he said, when I was looking down, I didn't see the border.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
One planet. So if we can think in those terms, that world is one country, and each one of us are the citizens of that country. So this is why sometimes people ask me, because of my very charming and unique accent, where I come from, and I say I am world citizen.
Nice, nice. And how old were you when you left Iran?
About 15 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I came here and I finished my high school in this great country. And I went to college, and then I went back to different parts of the world and worked and served. And then I came back to the United States, did my graduate work, and then I became citizen of this great country by choice,
Mm-hmm.
not by birth. And I am proud to be citizen of this great country.
Yeah.
And the greatness of the country has brought a lot of prosperity to a lot of people around the world. And I'm hoping that we will set aside all these differences that we may have and bring about, again, this unifying force that will guarantee the world.
Yeah. And when did you become a business professor at the University of San Diego?
Approximately 20 years ago, when I was financial manager for the city of San Diego, I was teaching part-time because of my academic training. I have an engineering degree from California Polytechnic University, and then I received my MBA and the doctorate in business administration and PhD in organizational leadership. Then I was always teaching, but at the same time, my full-time job was with the city of San Diego for many years. And then I was teaching part-time. So when I decided to become full-time, I told the university that I would like to be considered as a full-time faculty. Then when the opportunity came, I retired from the city of San Diego, became full-time faculty. And I enjoy and love every minute of my time working with the faculty, working with the students in the classroom, because I see that as a service to paying forward. So all these things that I have benefited from in this great country, I'm able to pay forward a little bit. And I will also mention this. Education is very much emphasized in Baha'i faith. To the extent that if someone is creating a will for themselves, in their will, they also will their teachers. Because they are responsible for making this person enlightened,
Nice.
knowledgeable. So no one is left out
Uh-huh.
in the Baha'i community because we feel we all are.
Or in this together. I mean, how blessed your students are to have such a world citizen who's teaching universal peace, and to bring that concept into business. It's definitely a unique approach, but needed in our world. So,
Thank you so much.
Dr. Bijan, we got another question that came in here. Haven't read it yet. It says, do the Baha'i believe? Oh, no, we got that one already. Let's see. Does the emphasis on education end at a particular age? And if not, what are you currently studying formally?
You know, first of all, the first part of your question, no, it doesn't end, because we are learners for life. I went to colleges and universities for almost 20 years of my life, 12 years, elementary, secondary, high school, and then colleges, graduate school, and graduate school. But it doesn't end there. One of the things I also teach my students to be a learner, to become a learner. It is that expression of teaching a person to fish or give them a fish. We believe in teaching the people how to fish, how to gain education. It is never ending. I hope for the rest of my life, I will continue learning and growing and be able to make a contribution. The joyous part for you and I, both of us, comes when we feel we are making a contribution to humanity. Whether it is a Sunday sermon, or it is a day at the gas station, or a day in a serving the homeless, whatever it is going to take, we are serving humanity.
And one of the great ways that I watch you every week do, and you were doing this long before I ever knew you, but I heard about what you were doing, and this was couple decades ago, when I heard the most successful Toastmasters in the North County of San Diego was this one that you were leading. And here it is, all these years later, your group, and there's a couple dozen at least, people working on their comfort and public speaking that show up early morning here at Seaside, and there you are leading this group year after year after year, creating the opportunity. And I've watched your, I don't know if they're students, but your participants grow right on out, become great public speakers, and you stay with that group for the next round of individuals coming through. And to be able to move through the concern of public speaking, I think is one of the great gifts that you have created the space for, and they're able to find a peace inside of themselves so they can deliver what's in their heart and soul.
Thank you so much. And allow me to thank you and your staff to welcome us, to use that space to be able to do this. You know, the self-expression, self-development, I mean, it's just amazingly fulfilling. When someone can communicate, it is just the greatest gift for them to be able to communicate effectively, listen effectively. That's what the Toastmaster organization promotes. I have worked with youth in a youth leadership program. I would go to the high school and ask them, give me your best and worst students, and I would teach them for 9 weeks to how to express themselves, how to resolve their conflict, how to become the best they can, best brand of themselves. And this is true about every one of those people. Every Wednesday morning, they show up in a godly hour of 7:30 in the morning to
Crazy.
express themselves and at the same time evaluate each other so that they can grow together.
And
So
there
again,
you are, living your religion about being in service, helping others, continuously being of service to humanity. And you're just a living example of that with our youth, with young people, with speakers. It's tremendous. So, hey, here's another interesting question, Bijan, that came in from one of our listeners. And once again, I encourage people to ask, though we're running out of time here. But do the Baha'i believe or worship a deity or a god?
we definitely worship, as I mentioned earlier, in every continent we have a house of worship. And people from all faiths, not only Baha'i, can go to those houses of worship and pray and meditate their own prayers, their own beliefs. In the local level, we have every 19 days, we get together, and this is an opportunity. We call it feast. It's a spiritual gathering, and we get together normally in people's home. During a pandemic, we're all in Zoom, and we pray and meditate. Also, we get together and deepen in our beliefs at all levels and all dimensions. So, yes, Baha'is not only meditate in their own homes every day and be thankful and show gratitude for everything that God has given us. Also, because it is not only once a week, once a year during Thanksgiving we are thankful. We are thankful all the time for everything we have. I am thankful to be in this great country, which nobody knocks on my door to say, "What's your first name, last name? Come with me to prison." Okay, but devotion and prayers and meditation are sharing your inner desire of spirituality. Because it is not only the physical world, it's the spiritual. We are a spiritual being before being the person who we are. So because of that, we need to have that meditation, prayers on an individual basis, on a collective basis. And it is always wonderful to be able to see friends. For example, this Saturday, there's going to be a prayer because of the pandemic. Rather than somebody's home, it's going to be at the Oak Park. So everyone can come out at, I believe it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and have meditation and prayers.
Oh, beautiful. That's nice. I like that. And, it was something interesting you said, every 19 days you get together. And if people do the math, it's 19 days, and that happens 19 times in the course of the year. It's like 19 times 19. You get together in someone's home and have what you said, a feast, and to do your devotionals and your worship. How does somebody find one of those homes to become invited so they can deepen their understanding of that? And someone here just wrote, and is there possible to do it by Zoom? Are there local Zoom groups that get together every 19 days?
Yes, absolutely. During the pandemic, we have had all of our prayers and meditation on Zoom. Yes, because again, we are obedient to what our society, our community desires. So if we are going to be at home, then we are going to have those Zoom meetings. And they are very well organized, by the way, and it has different parts. And definitely integral part of that is meditation and prayer.
Mhm.
But what is important for people to be able to participate in these things, all they have to do is let us know, and we will give them the link to the Zoom to be there. But we are hoping that because nothing is like human touch. So we are hoping that soon we will be able to again congregate in someone's home, or as I said, this Saturday, they're going to be in an open park. So that way people will be able to again benefit from that gathering, from that camaraderie, that love, that particular caring for one another.
And I
Then
sure
you're
like
going
the
to,
food. When I've ever gathered in someone's home for one of these feasts, the feast was always delicious and sweet and robust and full. And so great way to a guy's heart is through their stomach, that's for sure. So, but Bijan, so we're coming to the end of our time here, and you've been talking about meditation and prayer. Would you work on just closing us out with some meditation and prayer, and just give us a little taste of the style of your religion's meditation and prayer?
absolutely, absolutely. Just 1 second, let me open this.
You do that, and we'll just assume we're in your living room, or should I say your office. We're zooming in for one of your 19-day celebrations. Getting towards the end of the year, so it's probably right around number 16 or 17 for the year.
Okay. Oh my God, oh my God. Unite the hearts of thy servant and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, give them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their heart by thy love. Verily thou art their helper and their Lord.
Beautiful. Thank you. It gives us just a wonderful sense. And so congratulations and happy birthday to Baula.
Thank you.
Is there a particular year? How many years has it been? Do you know what that is? Is that something that's known or followed? Or
It is over 120, 100.
That's okay.
I don't want to give wrong information.
Yeah, and it's not necessary. Sometimes there's religions, it is the year 729 or something. And so it's not that, it's just a celebration. Bijan, you continue your great work. Thank you for all the years you have served the Baha'i community here in North County. You have definitely been one of the faces that I have known that has represented your religion in a strong way. I know you've done it nationally, internationally. You've been to, I mentioned Haifa, that is really the world center over in Israel for it with their grand temple. But as you said, there's at least one grand temple in as many countries as is allowed, and ours is in Chicago. It's worth, if you can't get there, Google it and see it. Like I said, I saw the one in India, and I was just awestruck, and it's lived with me ever since. So keep up that good faith, and I want to tell our viewers that next week we have a wonderful guest. It's Sister D, and she is one of the monks at Deer Park Monastery, Thich Nhat Hanh's place out in the East County. And she's a Buddhist monk, and just talking with her, she has a grin from ear to ear. She too has a number of books, but she was personally trained by Thich Nhat Hanh for many years, but she gave up. She was a medical doctor, and so an MD who gave up that practice in order to go into the monastic life. And so her story is profound, it is soul stirring, and she plans to take us on one of the Buddhist meditations. So next week, tell your friends you get the link at Seaside, or the Inside Scoop will be the same link. So how you found your way here tonight to be with Dr. Bijan Zayer is the way you can find your way back. And Bijan, I know your new book just races up the New York Times bestseller list. Your students will be blessed to have that to augment their studies. And you keep up the good work. See you around the interfaith gatherings around town. And I greatly appreciate you enlightening us for one of the major emerging global religions whose basis is universal peace, honoring all paths to God, welcoming the different devotionals to be read in the homes. Truly and encompassing, embracing religion for our planet. And you're a wonderful example of being in service and sharing that with all people. So no,
thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure and honor to be here.
It's been a joy. You be well. To the viewers, you be well. Check us out Sunday morning online or in person, Seaside-Center.org. Come back here next Wednesday night for the We Are One series. And until then, you be well. Know how much I love you. Bye-bye.
Love you too.